Did a dog bite you again, Travis? Olivia's voice sliced through the living room like glass over velvet, sharp, smooth, and just loud enough for everyone to hear. She was lounging near the fireplace, casually sipping her tea, the thin gold necklace around her neck glinting under the light. The one he gave her years ago, back when things were still tangled in nostalgia and unresolved tension. Her tone was playful, but her almond-shaped eyes held the usual bite. Her parents laughed weakly, unsure whether to follow her lead or not. His mother chuckled nervously. Travis simply stepped into the room, the winter wind still clinging to his shoulders, his lower lip bruised, just beginning to scab over. He didn't answer immediately. He walked past the sofa, set down his bag by the corner, adjusted the collar of his coat, and gave Olivia a long look. She had leaned back, crossed her legs, and was now pretending to scroll her phone, but she was watching him. Everyone was watching him. "No," Travis said, clearly and calmly, each word spaced like a slow drumbeat. "It was my girlfriend." Olivia froze. The smile faltered just a fraction on her lips, and for a second, her fingers clenched tighter around her cup. The silence was thick enough to drown in. Travis didn't blink. He looked right at her as he continued. "She tends to kiss me a little too hard when she misses me." Mr. and Mrs. Lang, Olivia's parents, exchanged glances. Travis's mother raised her eyebrows but stayed silent, sensing the tension crawling into the space like smoke. Olivia finally set her teacup down. Her lips parted, but no words came. The necklace he had bought her for her 16th birthday shimmered like a memory she hadn't erased, yet she always insisted there was never anything between them. Travis moved toward the stairs with measured steps, picking up his bag again. "Wait," Olivia said, just a little too quick. "You have a girlfriend?" He paused on the second step, back still facing her. "Yes." Someone coughed in the corner. Mrs. Lang tried to change the subject, asking Travis about his flight. He gave a polite nod, then turned his face just enough for Olivia to see the side of his mouth lift, half amusement, half something else she couldn't read anymore. "I'll introduce her next time," he added quietly. "If you're still around." Then he went upstairs. Olivia stared after him. The room had gone back to its awkward small talk and shifting glances, but her ears still rang with that one word, girlfriend. Her thumb grazed the chain around her neck. She had worn it deliberately, thinking it would remind him, thinking he'd ask. He hadn't even blinked. The train ride home was quiet. Snow whispered across the windows while Travis sat tucked in the corner seat, earbuds in, but no music playing. He just wanted the motion, the hum, the silence. Coming home never felt like rest. It felt like rewinding. The winter holidays meant family, old neighbors, relatives he barely recognized, and her. Olivia. He could already imagine the way she'd be there. Always was, always at the center of the room, like a warm fire you couldn't sit too close to. He could see the way she'd toss her hair and laugh with her parents, and pretend the past was nothing but an old joke. She'd wear the necklace, of course she would. She always wore it when she wanted to act like nothing ever changed. But things had changed. He wasn't the same. His phone buzzed. He glanced down, a message from Emma. "Remember to rest when you get there, it's okay to breathe." No emojis, no long words, just her kind of message, soft, grounding. He let the screen dim before sliding it back into his coat. He hadn't told his family about her, not officially. Emma wasn't the kind of girl who asked for attention, but she noticed everything. Even when he didn't speak, she heard him. That was the difference. It was late evening by the time he reached home. Snow crunched under his boots as he approached the front door. Before he could even knock, it swung open. "There you are," his mom exclaimed. "You're late." Travis gave a tired smile and stepped in. The warmth of the house hit him in the chest. Familiar smells, roasted duck, sweet potato buns, cinnamon. His scarf was halfway off when he heard it. "Careful, Travis, watch out for stray dogs." Olivia's voice, smooth as ever, playful, biting. He looked up. There she was, sitting cross-legged on the living room couch like she owned the space, her hands wrapped around a steaming mug. Her parents were seated beside her, mid-conversation. "Tea." Fire flickered behind her, casting gold over the necklace around her neck, the one he'd chosen 3 winters ago. She was pretending not to care, but she had made sure he saw it. "I see you still enjoy recycled jokes," he replied, setting his bag down. "What's next, my old baby photos?" Mr. Lang laughed. "Still got that sharp tongue, huh?" Olivia smiled, but her eyes narrowed for a second. He could see it, how the silence stung her. Dinner followed soon after. The table was crowded. The food tasted like every memory from before things had gone wrong. Everyone talked. Travis listened. He always did. Olivia chimed in with stories of her recent gallery work, about Zachary, her ex-boyfriend, and some elite internship she was considering in France. She didn't mention Travis, not once, but she kept glancing at him, and then Mrs. Lang, ever too eager, said, "Remember when you two were attached at the hip? Everyone used to call you the neighborhood couple." Olivia froze with her chopsticks halfway to her mouth. Travis said nothing. "Oh please, Mom," Olivia snapped, laughing awkwardly. "That was all in your head. We were just friends. Like, come on, that's ancient history." There it was, again. He could still remember the first time she had said it, 3 years ago at a birthday gathering. They were 17, someone had joked about them being a perfect match. Travis had smiled, about to say something. Olivia, without even blinking, had laughed and said in front of everyone, "Me? Like Travis? No offense, he's just, like a brother. I'd never see him that way." He'd stood there, holding the gift he'd planned for weeks, a necklace. Even then, she hadn't known yet. He never gave it to her. That one ended up in the trash. That night, he walked home alone. The next day, Olivia posted a story of her holding Zachary's hand at school. They made it official. That was when he stopped hoping. Back in the present, Travis took a sip of his tea, eyes fixed on the reflection in the glass cabinet beside the table. He didn't flinch, he just said, "It's funny how the past gets edited." Olivia didn't respond. The next morning, Travis slipped outside early to get some air. His phone buzzed again. "You okay?" "Emma again." He typed, "Yeah, your voice helped, even if it was just in my head." He didn't send it, he just watched the words glow in the cold, then backspaced and wrote, "All good, I'll call you tonight." That afternoon, Olivia bumped into him in the hallway. She had just come out of the shower, hair damp, a towel draped over her shoulder. "You're quieter than usual," she said, stepping aside. "Homesick already?" He shook his head. "Just full." "You were always like that," she murmured, then added with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, still hiding everything behind that calm face. Travis didn't reply. He walked past her. She followed. "I saw your lip. Real subtle," she added. "Let me guess, you slipped and fell, or was that someone's lipstick you forgot to wipe off?" He paused halfway up the stairs. She was testing him. She always did. "It's nothing," he said. Olivia tilted her head. "You've changed, Travis." He gave a short breath of laughter. "You're just noticing?" That night, as he lay in bed, Travis scrolled through his photos. He didn't have many, but tucked into one folder were a few quiet shots Emma had taken. A blurry photo of him napping on the campus lawn, his glasses sliding down his nose, a snapshot of their shadows walking side by side. He had never posted any, he barely posted at all. Emma, on the other hand, never tagged him, but her captions always hinted at him. "Some people are the quiet you crave, even in a storm." Lunch deliveries for a certain someone who forgets time exists. He knew she was talking about him. He also knew Olivia had probably never bothered to look. Dinner was louder than usual that night. Aunts had come over, someone brought a bottle of red wine, and Olivia, of course, was there, dressed in a muted maroon sweater that made her necklace catch the light every time she turned her head. Travis sat at the far end of the table, mostly quiet, pushing rice around his plate until someone mentioned college relationships. "That's right," Aunt May chimed in. "Travis, your mom said you're seeing someone?" Chopsticks paused, conversations dipped. Olivia sipped her tea without looking up. Travis nodded. "Yeah, her name's Emma." There it was, easy, clean, honest. Mrs. Lang blinked. "Emma? Your classmate?" "Yeah," he confirmed, tone flat but gentle. "We met last year. We're dating." Someone whistled. Mr. Lang chuckled, lifting his cup. "Finally, huh? And here I thought you were planning to marry your work." Travis gave a small smile. He felt Olivia's gaze land on him for a split second, then flicker away. Her mother's eyes darted between her and Travis, sensing something that didn't need words. Her father, ever the diplomat, just nodded. "Oh," Olivia said after a beat. "You didn't strike me as the type to jump into relationships." "I'm not," Travis replied. "This one's just right." The words were plain, but they cut. She picked up her chopsticks again, her movements sharp now. "Must be nice. Some people get everything without trying." Travis raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. The table went on with awkward conversation, one cousin talking about a job interview, someone else bragging about their kids' grades. Olivia didn't speak again, but the way she kept adding unnecessary salt to her dish told everyone at the table what she didn't say out loud. Then his phone buzzed. He excused himself, walking toward the hallway as he picked up. "Hey," he said, voice instantly warmer. Yeah, just finished eating. You?" Emma's voice on the some. The other end was soft, but cheerful. "You sound tired." "Not really," he said, glancing back toward the dining room. "Just a lot of people. I missed your voice." There was a pause. A happy one. "I'll call you before bed," he added. "Sleep early tonight, okay?" "I will," she whispered. "Tell your mom I said hi." "I will." He smiled. He ended the call and walked back into the room. Olivia was sipping her tea again, lips tight. "So that's her?" Travis nodded. "That was Emma." Olivia laughed under her breath. "Right, sweet, sounds like the quiet, obedient type." "She's thoughtful," he said, "and actually means what she says." The words weren't loud, but they didn't need to be. Mrs. Lang subtly nudged Olivia's knee under the table. "That's new," Olivia muttered, louder this time. "Didn't think you liked clingy." Travis looked at her. "Better clingy than careless." She slammed her cup down. "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" The room silenced again. Mr. Lang coughed. Aunt May whispered something to her husband and stood to collect plates. Travis set his chopsticks down. "It means some people break what they don't value and then complain when it's no longer theirs." Olivia stood up. "I don't care who you're dating." "Good," he said, "because I wasn't asking for your opinion." She stormed off toward the balcony. Her mother followed seconds later. The rest of the family avoided his eyes as they cleared the table. Later that night, Travis sat by the window in his room. Snow was falling lightly. He thought about Emma's last voice note, the one where she told him not to lose himself just to keep old ghosts comfortable. He played it again, then tucked the phone under his pillow. A memory returned, the night Olivia had gone public with Zachary. It had been the same week she'd shot Travis down in front of their classmates. One minute she was rejecting the idea that anything romantic had ever existed between them, the next she was holding Zachary's hand by the vending machines. The school's most popular guy, the one who had once joked that Travis might be good at grades, but I'm better at everything else. They had dated for 3 months. Zachary had posted selfies, Olivia had worn his varsity jacket, Travis had walked past them every day in silence until the semester ended. Then, he chose a university at the far end of the country, quietly, no fanfare, no long goodbye. He never asked why, he didn't need to. Back then, he had thought distance would clean out the ache, but the truth was, Olivia didn't just hurt him with rejection, she hurt him because she accepted all his kindness, then discarded it when it was convenient. He hadn't realized what real kindness looked like until Emma. Emma, who remembered his tea order, who left notes in his books, who kissed him without asking for proof he loved her back. Who never posted a single photo of him but had once told a friend, "He's my favorite part of every day." She didn't need the world to know, she just needed him to know. Olivia had needed the world, and when she lost it, she started watching him again, like he was the piece she didn't think would move on. But he had. Emma had never been the type to stir drama. She believed in quiet loyalty, the kind that didn't need to be proven through raised voices or public shows, but Olivia's sudden aggressive presence in Travis's life had started to wear her down in places she didn't know were soft. It began with small things. The day Olivia commented on Travis's old group photos on social media, Emma didn't say anything. When Olivia tagged him in a memory from 5 years ago, Emma liked the post just once, then muted the notifications. But the moment she saw Olivia appear in Travis's stories, blurred in the background of a family gathering, her chest tightened. She didn't blame Travis, he'd told her everything, he never hid anything. Still, a small voice inside her whispered, he may not want her, but she knows how to get to him. Emma started acting differently. When they met at their usual cafe, she slid into the booth beside him instead of across. Her fingers laced with his more often than usual. She leaned on his shoulder longer, laughed louder, posted selfies with vague captions like, "My favorite view." Travis noticed. He didn't say a word. One day, when Olivia suggested they all meet for coffee, herself, Travis and Emma didn't hesitate. "Sure," she said. "Let's make it a double date. I'll bring Zachary." Olivia's face faltered. "We're not together." "Oh?" Emma smiled sweetly. "I assumed. You keep showing up like a rerun." Travis's hand brushed Emma's thigh under the table. A silent warning. "Don't lower yourself." Emma held her smile, but her heart beat too fast. She didn't like who she was becoming, sharp, sarcastic. But Olivia's presence stirred something primal. She felt protective, threatened, afraid of becoming invisible beside someone who had once hurt the man she loved. Later, Emma sat alone on a park bench, scrolling through old photos of Travis. He looked softer in those pictures. Urus, younger, quieter, wounded. He had never told her just how much Olivia meant to him before, but she saw it now, in the way he went silent when Olivia entered a room, the way his shoulders tensed when her name came up. And that scared her. A week later, Emma was walking out of a bookstore when her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Image attached. Emma, smiling beside another man, arms touching, a hand grazing her back. They were laughing. Then a text followed. "Does Travis know?" Before Emma could respond, the number blocked her. She recognized the man. It was her cousin. They had met to discuss a job internship. She didn't bring it up to Travis immediately, but she should have known Olivia would. Because 2 days later, Travis showed up at her dorm with a strange look in his eyes. "Olivia came to see me," he said. Emma's fingers curled tightly around her phone. "She had pictures," he added. "Of you, with someone else." Emma's throat tightened. "My cousin. His name's Leo." Travis nodded slowly, like he already knew. "I figured." She exhaled in relief, but his eyes were distant. "She said she saw you laughing, said you looked happier than I've ever made you." Emma froze. "You don't believe that?" "I don't," he said quickly. "But I hated that she even had the chance to say it." Emma stepped closer, touching his wrist. "Travis. I know it's not true," he repeated, softer now. "But she made it sound like I'm just some replacement. Like you're playing safe with me." Emma looked at him, hurt blooming in her chest. "Is that how you see yourself?" "No," he said. "But I know what I'm like. I don't always say the right things. I'm not the loudest in love." "You don't need to be," she whispered. But his shoulders had already dropped. The damage was done. The next evening, Olivia cornered him at his family's front gate. "She's not right for you," she said. "You shrink around her." Travis didn't respond. "She's polite, too polite. You need someone who understands you without needing a rule book." He stared at her. "You're projecting," he said. "I know you better," she insisted. "We grew up together." "That doesn't mean you loved me." Olivia's voice cracked. "I didn't know what I felt back then. That was the problem." She stepped forward. "Travis. I just want one honest answer." He didn't move. "Do you love her?" Olivia whispered. His voice didn't waver. "Yes." But when she walked away, her words remained in his head like static. That night, Emma called him. "You've been quiet," she said. "I'm sorry," he replied. "I'm trying to protect you from something I'm not even sure how to name." Emma was quiet on the other end, then she said, "Do you think I can't handle her?" "No," Travis said quickly. "I'm scared I can't." For the first time, Emma didn't know how to respond. She ended the call with a soft, "Good night." Travis stared at the screen long after her name faded. He loved Emma, but for the first time, he wondered if love alone was enough to protect her from everything tied to his past. It was a quiet Thursday afternoon when Travis agreed to meet Olivia one last time. She had asked politely, unusually so, said she only wanted a few minutes to set things straight. He chose a public cafe near the campus library, the kind of place too quiet for shouting and too open for lingering illusions. He didn't intend to stay long. Emma was nearby that day. She had gone to the same block to pick up a custom notebook she'd ordered from a small shop. She wasn't planning to eavesdrop. She was just walking past when she saw them through the window, Travis and Olivia, seated across from each other. His face looked tired. Olivia's hands were clenched on the table. Emma paused. Travis had told her he would be busy that afternoon. He hadn't lied. But he hadn't told her about Olivia either. Curious, then cautious, then something colder. Inside, Olivia stared at him. "I'm not here to play games," she said quietly. "I'm here to tell you the truth." Travis didn't speak. "I loved you," she said. "I just didn't know it when I should have." He let the words settle. "You're too late." "But I wasn't faking it," she insisted. "Back then, when we used to walk home together, when I wore that necklace, when I read your drafts and told you they were boring just to tease you." "You also told the entire class I was like a brother to you," Travis replied calmly. Right before holding Zachary's hand, like I'd never existed. Olivia flinched. "I didn't know what I felt. Everyone was watching. I panicked. I didn't think you'd walk away for good." "That's what people do when they get humiliated," he said. "They walk away." Olivia leaned forward. "I just need to know, Travis, if I had said yes back then, would we have made it?" Travis exhaled. "We didn't. That's what matters." Outside, Emma stood frozen. The sound was muffled by the glass, but Olivia's body language said everything. The closeness, the regret, the look in her eyes, and Travis, his face unreadable, but not rejecting. Emma turned and left. She didn't cry, she didn't text him, she just folded the receipt from the notebook and slipped it into her pocket, walking home in silence. Travis never saw her standing there. He returned to his dorm an hour later and found a bag on his desk, one of those canvas tote bags Emma loved. Inside was the notebook she had picked up. On the first page, in neat handwriting, it said, "Because I know you never say it out loud, I wrote it down for both of us." He flipped through the pages. They weren't poems or love letters. They were dates. "First time you lent me your jacket, the day you passed your lab final and forgot to smile, so I bought you cake. When you left class early to walk me to the nurse's office during flu week, when you first fell asleep on the bench and I stayed an hour because I didn't want you to wake up alone." Each page was a memory he had forgotten, but she hadn't. He kept turning until a Polaroid slipped out, Emma and him at the beach last October. He remembered the day clearly. She had tucked that picture behind her phone ever since. He flipped the photo. On the back, in faded ink, she had written, "Even if no one sees us, I remember it all." His hands trembled slightly as he pulled out his phone. No messages. No missed calls. She hadn't texted since yesterday. Travis scrolled through their chats. Emma had never once asked him to post a photo, never asked to meet his family, never once hinted at making their relationship public, and he had let that become his excuse. It wasn't that Emma didn't need reassurance, it was that she never wanted to force him to give it. He realized she was fading quietly. Just like she had entered his life, without noise, without demand, without asking for space, just hoping he'd offer it. He opened his gallery. There weren't many photos of her, most were candid shots she didn't know he took, her reaching for books, her sipping tea, her sleeping in lecture. Then he opened her shared playlist. She had named it For the Quiet Mornings. Every song had a timestamp. One was added the week he confessed his feelings, another the day they fought about Olivia's comment, another when he sent her her favorite strawberry candies during exam week. It was all there, all of him, through her eyes. And yet, the world still thought he was single, including Olivia, including his own mother, because he had kept it all hidden, out of fear. Travis sat down. He wasn't doubting his love for Emma, he was doubting if he'd ever shown her he could protect it. The graduation ceremony was held just before sunset, under an open sky tinged with streaks of amber and rose. Families gathered in clusters across the campus lawn, laughter echoing from all corners, tassels swinging in the breeze. Travis stood at the side of the stage, robe crisp, hands in his pockets, waiting for his name to be called. His eyes searched the crowd. Emma stood beneath a tree not far away, her arms folded gently over a bouquet she had picked herself, simple sunflowers and baby's breath, her style, never dramatic. She caught his gaze and offered a small smile. Her eyes crinkled slightly at the corners, but she didn't wave. She never made him the center of attention. Just made sure he knew he wasn't alone. When his name was announced, Travis walked forward slowly. He accepted his certificate, nodded to the faculty, and stepped down from the platform with the crowd's polite applause still in the air. His mother caught him in a tight hug. Cousins clapped him on the back. Then, without a word, he took out his phone. For the first time in years, he opened his social media account. He scrolled through his camera roll and selected a photo from last October, the one where he and Emma stood side by side at the coast, the ocean stretched behind them, her hand in his, head resting gently on his shoulder. She hadn't even known he'd taken it until later. He added a caption. "She's not just my girlfriend, she's my peace." He tapped post. Then he looked up. Emma had seen it. Her mouth parted slightly, stunned. For a moment, she didn't move, then she lowered her gaze, her lips curving into a smile he hadn't seen in days. She walked toward him as if the ground carried her softly. Travis took the bouquet from her hands and replaced it with his own. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "For every time I made you feel unseen." "I always saw you," she said. "I just wanted to know you'd see. Who's to see me too?" Before he could reply, a voice broke the moment. "Wow, so this is what you meant by peace." They both turned. Olivia stood just beyond the fence, arms crossed, expression unreadable. She looked different, tired, dressed casually, not the curated image she normally presented, but her eyes were still sharp. "Comfort over passion, huh?" she said. Travis didn't let go of Emma's hand. "No," he said. "Peace over performance." Olivia's gaze flicked to their interlocked fingers. "You really think this is love?" she asked. "You're just scared of heartbreak again. You chose her because she doesn't argue, doesn't challenge you." "She does," he said quietly. "She challenges me to be better, without hurting me to do it." Olivia took a breath. "So that's it?" Travis met her eyes without flinching. "You were a lesson," he said. "Emma is my choice." Emma didn't say a word. She only looked at Olivia with something close to pity, but never hate. Olivia held her chin up for a few seconds longer before turning and walking away. No tears, just silence. But it wasn't over. That evening, while Travis changed out of his robes, Emma sat alone on the steps behind the venue. Her phone buzzed with a message. Unknown number. "Congrats on stealing the spotlight today. Bet it felt good." Then a second one followed. "He would have never picked you if I hadn't walked away first." Emma read them quietly. Her thumb hovered over the screen. She didn't reply with words. She opened her gallery, selected the photo Travis had just posted, her holding his hand, both of them backlit by the soft hues of the coast. Then she took a new photo in the golden light of dusk, her hand in his again, resting on her lap, their matching rings visible. She sent the image, no caption. Moments later, Olivia blocked her. Travis came outside just in time to see Emma slip her phone back into her bag. "Everything okay?" Emma nodded. "She's gone." Travis tilted his head. "Are you sure?" Emma looked up at him. "Yeah," she said softly. "She just needed a mirror. I gave her one." Travis hesitated, then took her hand again. "What did she say?" "Doesn't matter," Emma said. "What matters is, you said something too." Later that night, as Travis scrolled through his own post and saw the comment section flooded with old classmates, he paused when he reached one name, Zachary. Just a single like, no comment, no drama, just a quiet acknowledgement. And yet, all Travis could think about was the way Emma had held back her own fears, her own need for public reassurance, while still protecting him in private. Even after Olivia tried to dig through the cracks, Emma had held them both steady. He hadn't just found peace. He had found proof of love that didn't need noise. And from this moment on, he would make sure the world saw it too. The proposal didn't go as planned, which was, ironically, exactly what made it perfect. Travis had reserved the garden at the amusement park where he and Emma once watched fireworks on a chilly October night. He had prepared a ring box, rehearsed the words, and timed everything with the exact minute the lights would dim and the fountain would rise. But when he turned around to begin, Emma was already kneeling. Both of them froze, one holding a velvet box, the other cupping a matching one in trembling hands. They blinked at each other, stunned, then burst into laughter. Emma went red first. No, you go." Travis grinned. This wasn't supposed to be synchronized swimming. They swapped boxes, standing up at the same time. Travis opened hers first. It was simple, elegant, engraved with the coordinates of their first trip together. Emma opened his, a gold band with a faint line of blue stones, her birthstone. "So, will you?" they said at the same time again. More laughter. They didn't need to answer. Their hand said it first, their kiss sealed it. The wedding was quiet but full, close friends, a modest garden, and two very different families learning how to share a table. Emma's mother, a whirlwind of opinions and charm, kept praising the color scheme. Her father watched quietly, occasionally exchanging glances with Travis as if confirming his daughter had chosen well. Travis's mother, after months of only hearing about Emma in his low-spoken voice, finally saw the girl who softened her son's silence. After dinner, she pulled Travis aside. "You've changed," she said, brushing invisible lint off his collar. "This girl, she taught you how to show love." Travis looked over at Emma, who was laughing with her cousins under the string lights. Her eyes lit up in the same way they always had, but now he let himself stare. "Yeah," he said, "she did." Later that night, when most of the guests had left and the sparklers were reduced to glowing stubs in the grass, he stepped away to breathe. That's when he saw Olivia. She stood by the garden gate, dressed in soft blue, her hair pulled back simply. She held a small box tied with a silver ribbon. "I came to give you this," she said. "It's a wedding gift." He took it, thanked her. They stood in silence for a moment. "I didn't think you'd come," he finally said. "I wasn't going to," she admitted, "but I kept thinking about something." He waited. "What if she changes?" Olivia asked. "What if one day she's not this perfect, gentle girl? What if she grows distant? What if you fall out of rhythm?" He looked down at the ribboned box. "Then I'll learn a new rhythm." She frowned slightly. "Love isn't about always being constant," Travis said. "It's about falling again and again, every time she smiles, every time she meets me at the door, every time she makes me tea without asking." He looked back toward the house, where Emma was laughing with his aunt now. "She doesn't owe me perfection," he added. "Just presence, and I'll keep choosing her for as long as I'm able." Olivia said nothing. "I hope you find someone who makes you feel that way," he said gently. Her gaze dropped. "Maybe." She turned to leave. He didn't stop her. Inside, Emma was waiting. She had something behind her back. "A gift," she said. Travis raised an eyebrow. "Another one." "This one's old," she smiled, "but you'll get it now." She pulled out her tablet and tapped to open a video file. The screen lit up with a grainy clip, a college sidewalk, a little dog wagging its tail. Travis watched as the dog ran straight toward the camera, then, suddenly, turned a corner. And there he was. Him, years younger, slightly lost, juggling a stack of books. The dog bounded up to him, tail wagging furiously, blocking his path. On screen, Emma's voice whispered, "Go on, remember to stick to that big brother for a bit. If you do well, I'll give you a treat." Travis stared at the video. "You trained him?" he asked. Emma smiled. "You orchestrated our meeting?" She nodded. "Kind of. I just saw you once, walking out of the library. You looked tired, like the world was sitting on your shoulders. I didn't even know your name then, but I thought, someone should look at him like he's not carrying everything alone." Travis looked back at the screen. The dog was now curled in his lap. In the video, Emma whispered, "You'll have a dad someday." Travis didn't speak. He reached out slowly, pulled her into his arms, and buried his face in her shoulder. "You've been loving me since before I knew," he murmured. "I'll keep doing it," she whispered back. The next morning, Emma found a fresh envelope tucked into her bag. Inside was a single photo, Travis, looking at her across the room, blurry, unaware. On the back, he had written, "Even if no one sees us, I remember it all too." They didn't need a honeymoon to feel like they were already home.